Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you all know what that means. That means once again, we get to review NWA Powerrr. We have some interesting matches taking place, including title matches that were set, one that was not even supposed to be on the card, but it happened. And of course, we have AEW Dark with 11 stack matches. So we're going to go through every one of them, which ones were good, which ones like, okay, will be simpler. But however, NXT, as you know, we're still dealing with a lot of things taking place. Not to mention, Grayson Waller is back after his little run-in with Shawn Michaels that he caused that put him in a week suspension. And of course, we're going to hear from Bron Breakker. As you know, we're going to be waiting for his next challenger. And of course, Meiko Satomura returns to NXT to team up with Roxanne Perez to deal with the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Ken Carter and Katana Chase. And we got plenty other things involved in this whole thing. But also, we're going to be talking about the news updates with what matches are being booked, anything suspicious, but also we got the passing of a wrestling promoter, businessman, however, but he also is the father of a current wrestler that we have been watching for many years. So, all of that will be discussed and talked about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with NWA Powerrr. As you know, we come off on the aftermath of Nuff Said. It opened up with Kyle Davis, who is welcoming Tyrus, as you know, retain his title against Matt Cardona. But however, things might have not gone exactly what Tyrus wanted. Apparently, he was interrupted by Rolando Freeman, who, let's just say, be honest, he has surprised us many times over in his matches. But however, Aaron Stevens, who seems like he has his own agenda in mind. But it's no secret right now that the reason they're there, they have one thing in mind each. They want a shot of the 10 pounds of gold. And apparently, this was not supposed to be part of the card, but it happened. Rolando will get his chance later on at the main event against Tyrus. Now, we do get another interview with, of course, in the ring with Kyle Davis. Apparently, on the advisement of Austin Idol, he had the NWA World Television Champion Jordan Clearwater put out an open challenge. Now, we did not know who it was. Kyle Davis says that he knew who it was because he answered it. Neither did Austin Idol or Jordan knew. And that person that answered is none other than Tom Latimer. I have to say, this was a pretty good choice. But however, keep in mind, Jordan Clearwater was smart enough to waste time to ensure that the match ends exactly 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Did it happen? No. He ended up on the crossface of Tom Latimer, and he had no choice to tap out. So basically, Tom Latimer has finally fulfilled one goal, is to be a champion, and now he is our brand new NWA World Television Champion. And not to mention, his wife, our current NWA World Women's Champion, is so proud of her, man. I mean, you can tell, and you want to sing that song from Lion King. Can you feel the love tonight? They're about to be celebrating for that win. Now, interesting announcements that were announced by Joe Galli. As you know, our next pay-per-view will take place on April 17th in Chicago, Illinois for NWA 312. Now, I'm not sure if that's the area code for Chicago, but if it is, please let me know. But a second time. Now, as you know, we're seeing things in the women's division progressing a lot. They've been As you know, we had the Women's World title, and then last year we had the NWA Women's World Championship. Now it's been announced, and this was something that was brought to the attention. There has been talk about having an NWA Women's World Television title. So it looks like it's going to become a reality soon enough. I'm like thinking, oh my god, this is like very interesting. So we're seeing multiple titles being built for the women's division in certain aspects. Like we have two titles in Impact, two titles in AEW, and also now we have three titles in NWA. So we don't know much of the details, but I'll be getting to that soon. Next up, we got La Rosa Negra taking on Angelina Love. This was one of those matches where you have to think, okay, how would Angelina Love deal with her recent loss to Camille? Will that allow her to redefine her? Or what? That's the thing we don't know. However, La Rosa Negra did not comply to anything that she tried to do, but it took only a cookie splash to put her away, and that was right the end of it, giving La Rosa Negra a very powerful win. Now, May Valentine, as you know, was asked to do an interview with Thrillbilly Cyrus and Zion. Now, however, Thrillbilly Cyrus has one thing in mind. His goal is to obtain the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. However, Zion said that he's going to put his title on the line again in the open challenge against the best wrestlers. But however, he does not consider Thrillbilly Cyrus in that category. Now, I'm sure Thrillbilly Cyrus is not going to take that kindly, but sooner or later he has to take the attention on him. So that's something we have to pay attention to. So we'll see what happens. Our next match, we have La Rebellion taking on Ricky the Mortons. I thought this was a pretty good match. One thing that was really interesting is Kerry was about to apply his move, that knee strike called the Kiss Goodbye. However, he managed to stop it because he saw that his father got almost hit. That kind of cost him the match. But however, it was a smart move by Mecha Wolf, but it worked. I have to say it was smart enough to avoid it. Then our next interview, as you know, we have from May Valentine, Matt Cardona, who's basically cannot believe he lost. He's pissed that Bully Ray got involved, this and that, and he's questioning it. So we don't know how far he's going to be, but he did state that he wants Bully Ray next week. So we'll see about that. Now back into the podium, Kyle Davis has his interview with our brand new NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions, Robin and Charlotte Renegade, the Renegade Twins. As you know, they felt good. However, the former champions are not too thrilled. Apparently, they are demanding for round 2, and of course, the Renegade Twins. But here's the kicker that's going on. Kenzie Page saying that she cannot compete because she's still injured. However, she picked her replacement, Roxy. Now, Ella Envy does not like this. Now, the real question does remain, is this a smart move by Kenzie Page? I don't know, but we will find out when that round 2 happens. Now, our next match we have for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, Tyrus versus Rolando Freeman. Tyrus did not take this seriously because he knows he can put this guy away, but that's exactly what happened. But out of the blue, we see Black G's with EC3. Now, we don't know what's going on. I know that recently Tyrus and Black G's have not seen eye to eye over the decision making that he made. Now, keep in mind, Black G's did not like the idea that Tyrus had to relinquish and cash in how do I say, the NWA World Television title to get a title shot of the 10 pounds of coal. Black G's did not like that. Not to mention, he did not like the fact that Tyrus put himself in a position at Nuff Said where none of the seconds are allowed to be in the match. And I think that we don't know what's going on, but it was an easy move for Tyrus. It took like less than 3 minutes to defeat Rolando. So the real question is, we know EC3 is signed with in NWA, but the real question does tell, what is going on here? What's Black G's doing with EC3? Well, we'll find out in the upcoming weeks or so. So I think that's pretty much it right now with NWA. I believe it's time for AEW Dark. Okay, AEW Dark opened up with Fuego del Sol teaming up with Leon Ruffin to take on the members of the JSA, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. You can guess this match was going to go fall into favor to the JSA, as you know, proving themselves to be the most dominating faction, which of course it ended with um Fuego being in the double spike DDT, right there giving Matt Menard the win. So that kind of sets up everything else. Now we do get a little interview with, of course, Christopher Daniels, who, as you know, he has reached his 33-year tenure as a pro wrestler, so he will be in a match later on. I think he will be taking um on someone, but yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our next match, I have to say, this is one of my favorite ones. We have Mei Shruga taking on Hyena Hera. Some great moments. I love this. If you guys never seen Mei Shruga, and you guys know you have no idea what you're missing. Those who do know who Mei Shruga is, she's not your typical normal wrestler. Not even. I like how Excalibur tried to give a reasons why she calls herself the Big Apple to Taz, and I think that's a real great thing. But it took only a somewhat of a similarity of a Muda lock using the arms for leverage to force her to submit, and I thought it was really great. But I feel bad for Bryce Rimser because May sure wants to take a bite out of him, which is something the Taz would definitely love. Now, our next match, we have the varsity athletes, Tony Nese and Josh Woods, along with that moron Sterling, taking on Allen and Cameron Russell. But you know how this match ends. It ends with a combination Bron Breakker suplex, and that always sets it out. Next match, we have Kip Sabian versus Gravity. This match ended real quickly with a knee strike by what's his name? Oh yeah, by Kip Sabian, just like that. Now we do get another interview with the varsity athletes. As you know, Tony Nese had multiple tag team partners, but there was one that he had decided to say did not count for him, and that is, of course, Trent Beretta. So next week we're going to see those two hash it out or so. Now we do have Zach Clayton taking on Dan Adams, who we also know him as Dan the Dad. I thought it was a pretty fun match, but it was like a brainbuster by him that picked up the win, and I thought it was pretty interesting right there. Next up, we got the members of the Trustbusters, Jeeves K and Sonny Kiss, along with Slim J, taking on Brock Anderson and Brian Pillman Jr. I thought this was a pretty good match for them as a tag team together. It felt natural because both these men are second generation wrestlers. So it was, of course, a good combination between both Brock with a spine buster onto Jeeves, and then Brian Pillman with a swanton bomb. It was over right from there. So it gave the first official win for Brock and Pillman for this one. Then we see an interview with Ryan Mendez, as you know, being an idiot as always, about him going back to LA to do what he does best, doing movies, that sort of thing. But I don't think we're too bothered by it. Next up, we got Serpentico along with the Spanish Announce Project taking on Christopher Daniels. Now, this match, you know how this was going to play out. It was going to be a good match. But, of course, members of the Spanish Announce Project tried to intervene. But apparently there was a misfire by Serpentico to Luther. It did not work. But it took the best moonsault ever by Daniels up to Serpentico, giving him the win. Next up, we got Ari Daivari along with the Trustbusters making a bet with Jay Spade, saying that if he wins, he gets a load of money. It did not happen. It was a hammerlock lariat that kind of sealed the deal for Ari Daivari to pick up the win. Next up, we got Diamante taking on ultraviolet, and you probably can guess this is going to be a good match, but it took only three German suplex to finish off the match. I thought it was pretty good. Next up, we got boys. Yeah, Dalton Castle and the boys taking on Jay Lucas, Larry Lizard, and Teriyaki. But in this case, it was the batarang by Dalton Castle to Teriyaki that gave them the victory. Now, our main event is Bronson of the Iron Savages taking on Konosuke Takeshita. This match was pretty awesome. Takeshita continues to impress all of us as fans. So I have to say, pretty good when it took only a knee strike to seal the deal, just like that. So I think that was pretty much it. What we had for AEW Dark. It's time for NXT. Okay, NXT opened up with the return of Grayson Waller's taking on Tyler Bate. Now, Tyler Bate requested this match a week ago due to the fact that he did not like how Grayson Waller was being disrespectful to Shawn Michaels. Now, Grayson Waller came out of a hellish beatdown against Bron Breakker. Now, I think Grayson Waller felt that Shawn Michaels made the biggest mistake of his life by putting him in a steel cage. Now, keep in mind what happened before. There was a count out by that allowed for Bron Breakker to retain the title, but they needed a real decisive winner. So that's exactly what happened. But Grayson Waller likes to say that Shawn Michaels dropped the ball. But Taylor Bate does not like how someone disrespects the boss that way. So that kind of sets the whole thing. Now, Grayson Waller, you probably would have thought in his way that he would find a way to finally shut up Tyler Bate, but the referee once again decided to lay down the law that he did not like what he was seeing. Basically, he was about to use the ropes to cheat. It did not work. 1, 2, 3. He was pinned by Tyler Bate. But of course, once again, Grayson Waller later on decided to take his frustrations out on Shawn Michaels, calling him a stooge. He even tweeted about this, saying that he is a stooge, that he needs to show him some respect. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know why he thinks that Shawn Michaels is responsible for his bad luck, but that's how he plays out. Now, since it is Valentine's Day, I failed to mention that earlier in the whole thing. Brooks Jensen decided to take Kiana James out on a Valentine's Day. Seems they were going things well, but Fallon Henley, who could not mind her own business, got involved, kind of burning a little bridges between her and the boys, so that kind of did not go well for her. If I were her, I figured out a way to apologize. Now, Apollo Crews, as you know, he did not get the job done, but however, we did saw what happened. Dabba-Kato got in it, and now he feels that Dabba-Kato has cost him everything. So the one thing on his mind is, of course, is getting revenge against Daba and once and for all putting him away. Now, Jacy Jayne comes out. It's been a week since what we saw with that hellacious beatdown that she gave to Gigi Dolan. Jacy Jayne is starting to believe in herself, saying that she's the victim of everything that happened to her. She feels that even though Jacy Jayne claims that people called her the third wheel, she wants people to shut up. So she now is constantly believing that she's going on top, and Gigi Dolan, she's no longer coming. This is going to pull off a Marty Jannetty thing. Keep in mind, Marty Jannetty was betrayed by Shawn Michaels. Do you think he stayed home? No. You can guarantee some point down the line, Gigi Dolan will show up and get her revenge against her. Now, we saw what happened last week when it came to the hell. Now, she was confronting Tiffany Stratton about JCU. All of a sudden, Ava Reigns was kidnapped. Now, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson are worried about her due to how this thing goes down. Now, they felt that she should not be in a match against Tiffany Stratton, but they felt like she made a good point. If she does not go there, she's allowing for the schism to win. Now, Mr. Chase and Duke understands, but I'm sure they will be watching her back. And that's what I liked about it. Now, Soruka had they put out a very impressive uh, video package about Soruka. Apparently, she admits that she is not the perfect wrestler, but she has made the impact. And I say we have seen she has done a lot of great impact in this thing. So we'll see what takes place. But she did call out Zoe Stark that she did put her in the soul snatcher before. So that sets the whole thing. Now, our match, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale. Things would have gone great for Thea if it wasn't for the schism. Now, the question is, why they're attacking, coming out after Thea Hale? I think this is a direct message. I think the schism are pissed that they did not go to a Vengeance Day in that four-way match that allowed the Gallus Boys to win the titles, but it kind of worked in the Schism favor to have Thea Hale lose the match. But it did put up for Tiffany Stratton to put a moonsault, and that seals the deal right there. Now, we do have a little funny segment where we have Tatum Paxley and Ivy now hanging out. Here comes Big Body Javi trying to set out a Valentine's Day with Tatum Paxley, but apparently he ended up in the Dragon Sleeper by Ivy now. And once again, Isla Dawn continues to play these ridiculous mind games, telling Ivy Nile that it was Tatum Paxley that attacked Nikki Lyons, that she thinks that, oh, there's a dark side in her, but she doesn't believe that. There is no way that could be 100% true, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have Axiom versus Damon Kemp. This match was pretty good. The only thing it was difficult is that Axiom is not a technical wrestler, but he does put up some great spots. It took only a golden ratio for him to pick up a win against Damon Kemp. I thought it was a pretty good one. I think I enjoyed it. Now, as you know, Bron Breakker is out. We haven't seen him since Vengeance Day. However, he has acknowledged that he was about to talk about one particular person, and that person is none other than what's his name, Carmelo Hayes. But however, Jinder Mahal comes out saying that people are turning their backs on him. But of course, Bron Breakker is not afraid to challenge. But one thing that does concern me is, how will Carmelo Hayes feel about this? Now, we know he already has everything, but we'll see what takes place. Now, we do see a Katana Carter and Chance talk to Satomura and Roxanne. Now, as you know, they have not been in a good mood since losing the tag team titles. So basically, that kind of sets the whole thing. But however, the match is going to happen. I think they realized they made a huge mistake not to take the frustrations out on Roxanne. Now, Indy Hartwell, as you know, she has dealt with the wrestlers that tried to upstage her. First, it was, of course, Tiffany Stratton. And then all of a sudden, we have Jacy Jayne. Now that kind of puts Indy Hartwell so that, you know what, girl? Get your sorry ass in the back of the line. That's what she believes. Now, Wesley, our current NXT North American champion, puts his title on the line in an open challenge. First, it was Tony D that stepped up, but Dijak shows up, Stacks get involved, and then Von Wagner shows up. So it became Von Wagner versus Wesley. But however, Von Wagner refuses to listen to Mr. Stone on certain occasions, but it kind of put him in a position where he lost once again. But later on, it did showed that Mr. Stone saying, look, I need you to tell me what you need. I want to help you. Help me to help you. So the real question is, will Von Wagner get the help that he needs? He needs to tell him he needs help. But we'll just wait and see what happens then. Now, our next match, we have Hank Walker versus Charlie Dempsey. Now, Hank Walker seems like he had everything under control, but you cannot stop a guy like Charlie Dempsey, who was beyond a technical wrestler. But unfortunately, he did force Hank Walker to tap out. Drew Gulak felt disappointed, and he walked out with Charlie Dempsey. But what does this mean for Drew Gulak? Well, find yourself another instructor. Now, Pretty Deadly decided to go to a pub to see they think they can outdo the Gallows Boys. It did not work. They lost in the chances of pool, that sort of thing. So I think that's a pretty interesting thing. Now, we do get an interview with Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov, as you know, has one mission, and that is, of course, is to destroy JD McDonough. However, Trick Williams, who got pounded, will not take this kindly. Now, he called him out, tried to get into his face, but it did not work. And then JD McDonough shows up, causes that, and then, of course, Trick Williams beats him up, left him in the floor flat on his back. However, he did tell Carmelo Hayes that Dragunov is not the baddest person. But Carmelo Hayes is a little worried that he is, but Trick Williams convinced himself saying he could beat him. But if I was Trick Williams, I wouldn't trade likely, because whatever you do not hit him in the back. Now, our main event is Kaden Carter versus Katana Chance versus Meiko Satomura and Roxanne Perez. I thought this match was pretty good. I liked it. And you only have Carter and Chance, the most cohesive team, but Meiko Satomura and Roxanne did pretty well for each other. But it was the pop rocks onto Kaden that sealed the deal for Roxanne. But in the post-match, when we saw the victory happen, it seems that Meiko Satomura has one thing in mind. It's the NXT Women's Championship. But of course, Roxanne is not going to back away, so we'll see what happens then. I think that's pretty much it. What we have with NXT. It's time for some news updates. Okay, our news updates. Well, you may have heard the sad news that Jerry Jarrett, the father of Jeff Jarrett, has passed away. As you know, Jerry Jarrett has been involved in the wrestling business for a long time. He was a pioneer in certain aspects. He ran some promotions. Not to mention that he and his son Jeff Jarrett co-owned TNA until it became very popular. So it's saddened to hear about his passing. About him, our thoughts and prayer goes out to him and to his family and friends. So rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. You will be missed, but never forgotten. Now, recently I've been seeing this on Twitter recently. Konnan is currently getting a lot of heat over a joke that he made about Konosuke Takeshita. Now, I'm not sure what the joke is, but it appears that fans are calling Konnan a racist. Now, I don't know exactly the extent of the joke that he said. Konnan is trying desperately to set the record straight. But it appears that whatever he said, no one is taking him seriously. Like, he tries to say it was just a joke. Okay, I get that part, but the fact is, what did you say to say something so offensive to have these people turn their backs on you? That's the thing. Now, do I think whatever he said it was a joke? I don't know. But if people say they do not like what they hear, then he said something wrong. And not to mention, people are now saying you're just as racist as your buddy, the Disco Inferno, which is true. Disco Inferno has been like that before, but I hate to see that with Konnan. But I don't know. But we'll just wait and see what happens. Now, WrestleCon has announced for the upcoming guest, and this guest that they announced is Boom Boom Colt Cabana. Boom Boom Colt Cabana. Boom Boom. That's right. He will be at WrestleCon for all of you guys. If you're going to the LA to WrestleCon, then you guys know what I'm talking about. Referral announced the return of none other than the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. He will be in Rev Pro for 2 days on the 11th and 12th of March. So if you guys are any subscribers out there from the UK, then you guys know you're going to in for a treat. Now for our GCW updates, for the middle of midnight that takes place on the later on this month on the 18th, it was announced that Ali Catcher will be facing against Charles Mason. But however, Charles Mason's mercenaries and Thrusty members are banned to be seconds. So this is going to be very interesting. Now, I have mentioned in the past recently 2 new shows that were announced for upcoming cities that GCW will be making their way. On the 15th of April, they're going to be heading to St. Louis, and they're calling this show I Can't Feel My Face. Don't know what that meant, but that's what it is. And as for the 16th in Evansville, Indiana, they're going to call this one Red Means Green. So now both shows, they haven't told exactly who will participate in this, but I'm looking forward to it in the upcoming months. Now, Wrestling Revolver is announced for the Drip show that takes place on the 4th of March. We're going to have a house fight between Cross Jackson and one called Manders. Now, if you guys are from the Ohio area, if you guys are big fans of Revolver Wrestling, it was announced wrestling legend Lex Luger will be there doing a meet and greet, signing, autograph session, that sort of thing. So if you guys are in the Ohio or whatever area these guys are going to be, you're in for a treat. So yes. Now finally, Stardom has announced for the final of the Triangle Derby will take place this weekend on the 17th. Everybody has their final matches and see how far we're going to go. So most likely we are seeing certain wrestlers now. For the record, I haven't seen the last two matches events that they had this past weekend. I hope I get to see it before then, and we'll talk about that soon enough. Not to mention we're almost getting closer to the showcase and all this other stuff. So we'll see what happens then. And I think that's pretty much it what we have for our news updates. I say it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Dynamite. I'm so excited. Now, if there's any other wrestling events that I might throw in, I haven't seen some of them, but we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.